Hello, welcome to Burnout. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I can actually do a Burnout marathon. With every Burnout game under the sun. Starting with 1 and ending with Crash, because I will play them in release order. If I played them in order of best to worst, or worst to best. Wait, I should do that really, but oh well. So yeah, my plan is obviously play all the Burnout games. It's probably going to take me about a week, give or take. This game shouldn't take that long. Burnout 2, I should probably also get done today. And then everything beyond that is like a day game, probably. The only thing that I know about this game is I should not crash immediately. But I'm fairly certain I need to play on hard. Because I don't actually think the difficulty is a thing. I think the difficulty is just the controllability of each car. So easy is a fairly fast car, and a good handling one, but hard is very fast. But it just drifts as soon as you try and take a turn. And that happens. First place is probably way up in first by now, which doesn't help. If there was a map that you could... Are you sure about that? Yeah, first is way off out there. I may have to restart this and play on hard. Excuse me. No. Already not a fan. Burnout one. Like that. I really do not know why they force some weird drifting mechanic when you turn too much. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I'm never going to catch up to first. I'm just going to very quickly quit and restart on the harder muscle car. Because that will probably be the only way to do it. Yeah, like I say, I'm fairly certain, I mean obviously I don't actually know, but I would be fairly certain that the only difference between the Super Mini and the pickup or the muscle is this is faster, harder to control, slower, easier to control. That's my assumption anyway. That is. Actually, I'm going to have a quick Google search. Google. Save that for later. So, Burnout 1. Car difficulty. I'm gonna more than assume it'll pump out the same information. Yeah, instead vehicles are ranked by how difficult they are to control. For example, the Super Mini is an easy ranked vehicle as it is a small car that is easy. Unless they're all the same speed, in which case I'll just play this on fucking easy. So the top speed of the Super Mini is 130 and the top speed of the Muscle is 135. Really? There's only like a 5 mile an hour difference. And then a 8 mile an hour difference between boosting and not boosting. Really? Why would you ever play it on hard then? Like, I thought that the pickup truck was probably, well, the hard cars would have just been like 150 miles an hour or something, but a 5 mile an hour difference? Really? What is my incentive then for playing with the harder the vehicles? Because I don't necessarily see any. And I've now maxed out. Not only getting an extra 5 miles an hour, which conveniently this car and the pickup truck goes at the same speed and I'm going faster than it. So even then the statistics for this game are probably accurate, of course, but not even remotely worth looking at. As long as this car doesn't do that too often, I think I should be fine. That is not a crash out. Screw you. I may have a handling on how the drifting works. I mean, not bad at drifting, but I may understand how it works. It's like a percentage thing, if that makes any sense. So you don't go from like 0 to 100, you're either drifting or you're not. It's more of a, when you enable it, the more you push in the direction that you're drifting, the more you will tighten that turn, but then obviously the more you push the other way, you basically into more or other. I don't know, I'm explaining this as if anyone who watches this has no idea how this works, because obviously I've never played Burnout. I've only ever played Burnout Paradise and a crap ton of the demo to Burnout Revenge. The original Xbox, I will grant, but no, they're the only two games that I've ever played. No. Yep. Nothing I can do there. I mean, maybe I could have cut the corner. But hopefully that screws up my position. No. Get fucked. I didn't even intend to do that. But I'll take it. I don't give a shit about t-shirts. Actually, what is it even advertising me? Oh, pop figures from fucking Marvel. Thanks. You look up pop figures for something else and it's, oh, here's these brand new Marvel ones. That's not what I was looking for. Yep, no, that was never going to go well. Oh, my guys are right fucking behind me. This is, I guess, the only kind of major downside to this. Is that the AI potentially don't make any mistakes? I mean, as if I'm there to cop them over, but I don't think the AI will ever crash without me, potentially. I mean, I'm just talking complete bollocks out my arse, but also, nice 7-minute race, by the way. And this is only race 1 of probably 4 in the fucking tournament. Oh god. No! I wanted to drift, but I kind of cut that over. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, nice 7.5-minute fucking race. 7.5 minutes. Yep, I am +1. Where is +1? +1 is... Oh, there's a damage thing? Oh god, who cares? Oh, Watch Dogs Legion had a 60 FPS option. Nice. So you know how I said that I was going to beat this game today? Lemony. And the only Lipton flavor that has ever escaped me over the years is lemon. No, why? Okay. No, get out of my way. Oh, God, what? Okay. I somehow ramped that and I don't know how. I have no idea how I just didn't crash out twice there. You know this road is... Oh, hello, Titus. Привет! Нет. Bollocks. Never seen Burnout 1 gameplay. Well, so far, it's ass. Because the only difference between the 6 cars that the game gives you is handling. So this one's easy because it handles very nicely. The muscle car is hard because it drifts. As soon as you tap to go around a corner, it immediately kicks into drift mode. It does. And the difference in speed between this sports car, supercar, mini car thing, whatever the hell it's called, is 5 miles an hour. So I don't know why you would ever want to make the game obnoxiously difficult for the sake of a 5 mile an hour speed difference. I don't know why you'd ever want to do that. I'd sooner have full control over my car at all times rather than drifting around every corner and then crashing out anyway. Nope, I wanted to turn right. Ooh, see, the AI car's cheating. No, the AI car crashed. Well, everyone crashed. Lovely. Literally nothing that could be done there. He crashes out, blocks up the entire road. Well, obviously in this you can't use NOS at all. Yeah, in this you can't use. Yeah, you can't use NOS until you fill out the NOS meter on the bottom left. And also, every race is like 7 minutes long. Like, I shit you not, the first race took me 7.5 minutes. This one's probably going to take me a good 7. The timer reminds you of Test Drive. I mean, the timer reminds me of, you'll tell me the name of it, but the arcade racing game Outrun, that's it. I was about to ask you for the name, but yeah, no, Outrun, that's what it reminds me of. Well, obviously you've only got an X amount of time to get from one checkpoint to the next. Which, I don't see the point, because... well, no, just any Outrun in particular. But, also in this game you get one-ups. So if I lose this race and come second, you have 3 lives to retry a race. And I think those 3 lives carry over for the entirety of the championship for the cup. Which is really obnoxious, because that means you fail a cup, you've got to redo like half an hour's worth of fucking driving again. Like, it's really obnoxious. I mean, you can restart a race, but restarting the race might force you to use a credit. I'm not going to find out, of course, but it might force you to use a credit. Which is what's making me lead to believe that this game was a arcade game before it was a console game. Oh, nice, they crashed out just. Because again, why would you in a console racing game put in credits, one-ups and timers? Realistically, you never would. Or at least I never would anyway. This looks pretty good for a video of the Xbox game though. I mean... yes, but in the grand scheme of things, no. That's why I'm driving the Super Mini. Yeah, position required second. So yeah, I have to come second at minimum to continue and win this. I assume that's correct for the entirety of the race, no matter what.
3, 2, 1, go!
How many races are there in total in one championship? Well, this one only has 3. They may all only have 3. Oh, they crashed out. And because they crashed out in such a narrow area, no AI should be able to get through there. I don't think any of them did. No! Yeah, the drifting in this is... yeah, the drifting in this is kind of something you need to get used to. Because it's not traditional drifting. Because pretty much once you tap the gas, or the game forces you to go into a drift, you immediately kick into 100% drift. But if you know you're doing it, then you can control how much you want to drift, obviously from 0 to 100%. The problem is, like I say, it kicks you into drift like almost immediately. So then when you do that, you try and overcorrect yourself, which then means you stop the drift, and then you stop the drift, which then means you drive straight into the nearest fucking car. So it's kind of a guessing game in a weird way to pick how you want to drift. Be happy this is a British game. Well, yeah, true, but I mean, again, it's not going to be a bad game, but again, for standards, it's way too easy to crash out in this game. It is. It's way too easy to crash out. Like, I could probably grind on the wall and the game would probably crash me out. It would. Like any tiny little nick that the game thinks is a crash out will crash you out. Which I get, because again, it's an old game. It's not gonna be perfect, but it is on the slightly annoying side. Like that. Give me boost. I'm gonna crash out immediately, I just fucking know it. Yep. Not rip second place or whatever. Yeah, providing I actually win this championship would have taken me about 20-ish minutes. Which, like I say, 20-ish minutes with credits and not infinite goes. Kind of annoying. And also, like I say, every race is like racing on the fucking Nürburgring. It is. Like, the first race that you missed, like I say, was 7.5 minutes. Why was it 7.5 minutes? I don't fucking know. The championships. I want to say 8. But it might only be 4 and the other 4 could just be reverse versions of these races. Which would make perfect sense. But I really don't know, I couldn't tell you. I'm gonna have a baby by the time I'm done with this game. Ooh. Nope. Yep. Yeah, checkpoint right before the fucking finish line. Renderware engine is this? Get fucked, saloon car. One, two, three, four, five, six. One, two. No, there's only 6. Sorry. And yes, I am just going to play this entire game with the Super Mini. I am not. I'm not even going to consider driving the muscle car. Not even medium. No, because that car kicks out into drift almost immediately as well. It does. So if you want to try and bob and weave in between traffic, you will probably kick into drift. Like I say, in this game, to drift, obviously you tap brake, then gas, and it drifts. As with all games, I assume. But if you hold the stick in one direction for too long, it then forces your car to go into a drift. It does. So again, easy doesn't kick you into a drift immediately, hard does. Medium still kicks you into a drift even when you don't want it to. Great van. Like I say, that's the entire difference between these cars, is that they just control harder, which means they just drift sooner. And it really is annoying that you tap the car as lightly as that and it's just, nope, sorry, crash out. Which then means the lead for the person who's in first will only stay in first. Because I assume they will almost always never crash out. Oh, never mind, I'll tell a lie. That's the criterion drift method on all their games, brake to drift. No, what I mean is if you don't tap the brake button, like look, not tapping the brake button, it kicks into drift when you hold it for too long. That's what I mean. So on the hard car, I would have kicked into drift so much sooner. That's what I mean, like that drifting mechanic is really annoying and obnoxious. It is. Like, brake to drift makes perfect sense. Like, brake to drift makes sense. But forcing you to go into a drift by holding left for too long is kind of annoying. You actually hate brake to drift. Well, I mean, brake to drift makes sense when you think about it. Like, again, would you prefer to have brake to drift or hold one direction for too long and then it might drift for you? Because what other method is there? Handbraking? Like, brake to drift is good because it at least, I mean, obviously, unless you're counting more simulation games, I suppose, but in terms of arcade races or simcade races, brake to drift makes perfect sense. Because you're physically pressing a button. Granted, I mean, handbrake does the same. But within reason, you can somewhat, I suppose, control that. Whereas with handbraking, you're going to lose so much speed and acceleration for activating it. Whereas brake, it's just activating the drift mechanic rather than losing too much speed too quickly if you don't know what you're doing. But again, that's just a whole skill thing anyway. And again, I'm not going to complain about drifting in any game ever. I'm just bad at it. But in this game in particular, the drifting mechanic is kind of not needed. Like, I would even probably go as far as to say none of the Burnout games should even have drifting in it. Okay, just two-wheel this Mini. You know, like, I would go as far as to say that none of these games should ever have a drifting mechanic. No. This game's from 2001, it's 20 years old. It's almost as old as I am. Almost as old as I am. Hell, it's older than you. And you're 12. Frozen tea. Yep, Lipton, because they finally had lemon in stock. And I've never had lemon. It's the only flavour that I'm aware of that we sell here in the UK that I've never had. And it smells very lemony. It doesn't taste very lemony, which is nice. It's a refreshing lemon. You get the hint of lemon with none of the sour taste. Lipton, buy yours today. Actually, I'm not sponsored. You've been 12 for 2 years since you met me. Exactly. You will always be a 12-year-old. I don't know. Do you want to know the honest thing? I don't know why I ever thought you was a 12-year-old. I may have just said it as a joke at one point, and it's just kind of stuck at the, you know, stuck. But obviously hearing the "Do not rush me, shut the fuck up" kind of threw me off the other day. You know, I was half expecting rush me, my friends, rush me. But no, it turns out you may or may not have balls. Huh? So, you know. Yeah, I really don't know. I may have said it as a joke at one point. I may have just mentioned it because you was here for racing games in GTA. So I just again assumed for some weird reason that you was going to be a little younger than bollocks. Than I'd have assumed. But oh, everyone. See, I guess that's the only good thing about crashing out in this game is if you crash out in a small tube area like this, then it will be impossible for the AI to drive around you because, well, they've got nowhere to go. Downside, I will never use my burnout meter because, well, I'm just going to be constantly crashing out, so... I'm 13 when you first saw me, so actually I wasn't far off then, was I? I'm gonna have the distinct feeling this is gonna be a 6-minute race. Or even at this rate, a 7-minute race. $2:20-ish? Yeah, this is going to be a 7-minute race. Yeah, of course. Wasn't yours? I thought that's how you become a man. Oh, I also did lap 1 in 2:15 dead. Nice. No, come on. Split the gap. Go on then, I'll boost. I'm gonna screw myself over doing this, but whatever. No pain, no gain, right? Oh, well, they just crashed out with each other. Lovely. Why are you on the wrong side of the road, you idiot? Next question, why am I on the wrong side of the road? And it was a truck driver. Of all people, truck drivers never should never overtake. Why even be illegal? I'm pretty sure the drifting in Burnout 3 is similar, and the game will force you to drive the cars that handle like shit. Oh, lovely. I mean, as long as it's well done, and if it's like a game mode that they've actually thought through and developed, then I won't complain. But yeah, it's just this. This game really didn't need a drift mechanic. I really didn't need one.
Checkpoint.
You know, that'd be like if Call of Duty became a hack and slash all of a sudden. It's like, why? Like, okay, you've got shooting mechanics, that's the thing you're good at, but why are you... I like how the AI driver actually tried to slow down and split the gap. I like that he actually tried to do that. Didn't help, but you still see the problem of crashing out's too easy. Like, even if the AI can slow down to a crawl and they still crash out. I mean, then again, I guess they're just crashing into debris, so I assume that's an automatic crash out. I was thinking of buying Burnout games for any Xbox. This seems to be too bland and boring. Yeah, I would probably argue so far, having played only 4 races, skip this one. And probably even skip Burnout 2. Like, just get Burnout 3 Takedown and Burnout Revenge. And just ignore the others exist. And Paradise if you really want to, but obviously then ignore all the others exist. Because Legends is just a compilation. And Dominator is, well, a blurry hot mess on a PS2. Which I'm going to be slightly annoyed at myself for getting the PS2 version. Because I should have maybe gotten the PSP version, but whatever. You already have Paradise and Pirated 3. Naughty, naughty. What is the news? Yeah, Watch Dogs Legion. I know, you already told me about that earlier. Yeah, I would just say skip Burnout 1 and 2. Gridlock USA. Oh, my position to win this is first. In the championship before it was second, now I've got to be first. I mean, I was always going to try and be first anyway, but... So I'm assuming this is supposed to be New York. Also, I'm assuming there's no drift mechanic. Or draft mechanic, sorry. That's why Midnight Club franchise had a similar fate like Burnout. I mean, I do own Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition. Because I saw it and I thought, oh, the Dub Edition? Well, that must come with some extra stuff. No, the Dub Edition Remix is what comes with extra stuff. I did not know this at the time, but... whatever, it's the same fucking game, who cares, you know? Same thing like Most Wanted Black Edition. Is it really that big of a deal? Not really. But wasn't the Midnight Club Los Angeles, right? In 2008? Black Edition PS2 exclusive in PAL. No, I know it was, but I was just saying that in a comparative way. And yeah, I may own Los Angeles. If you go on my games list, obviously if you use ! games and you Control F and look up Midnight Club. I know I've got Midnight Club 3. I may have... God, now you're gonna make me fucking stand up, aren't you? LM... No, I don't think I do. No, I don't. I've seen it, but I've never bought it, it seems. Yeah, so I own Midnight Club 3. I'm fairly certain I own Midnight Club 3. And it's Midnight Club 3 on PS2. But I think it was only on PS2 anyway, so whatever. Or was it on Xbox as well? See, this is the thing. When it comes to racing games, like, you need to get them on Xbox or PC specifically, just for the clarity of being able to see what's in fucking front of you. Like, I know I never ever am portrayed as someone, and I will always say it, but I'm not portrayed as someone who cares about graphics. But I will admit, when it comes to games like this, yeah, graphics don't matter. It's more about the quality of what you can see. Again, like in Scarface when you was here the other day. I'm trying to escape the police, but the draw distance is so low that you have a fraction of a second to react to a spike strip. Who is dodging that, you know? Like, no one, realistically, so... Older games like that on PS2, well, it's on PS2 and stuff, where they're not necessarily built for them, or built well. You really need the best quality version. Again, like I would more than happily play any game on any system, but there's a line that has to be drawn at some point where even I have to admit, you know, that quality does actually matter. And again, in a game like this, and maybe even in a game like Scarface, yeah, it really fucking matters. Also, all those idiots drove straight for some reason. I mean, thanks, because I've got to come first, but... Oh, and also, I've got something to show you in a minute, Titus. A little thing to say, oops, since I couldn't get Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2, which I went back into the store again today and they didn't have it, so I assume they took it off the shelf because it's the wrong advertised one or they don't have the disc anymore. So I'll keep an eye on it to see if they re-update their webpage that they say that they've got it here. Then I'll try and go back up as soon as possible, because like £2.50 for Hot Pursuit 2 on PC, bollocks. I think that's a hell of a lot cheaper than what I can buy, say, on eBay or something for, so... Also, that was a nice kill. That was. Yeah, so here's my little something. They had a copy, it was £3. I thought, fuck it, may as well. And I played it, and it's actually not that bad. It's not amazing, I will admit, but for a Wii game, it's not that bad. You know, it kind of goes down the Burnout route, kind of, in a weird way. I mean, you might know about it, but... Be aware of that. HP2 is like this, just races, no story, whether there's some shit written before, but it's just races. Yeah, I mean, I don't care. Like, again, how many people are you going to recommend to play, like, Most Wanted for its story? You know, I even played, what, Underground? And that barely even had a story, and I think so far that Underground 1 and Underground 2 are the best Need for Speed games. Again, I haven't played them all, but so far the ones I've played, I will easily go back to Underground or Underground 2 any day. The drag races still fucking suck, and I will admit that, but for me, they are the best so far. Pro Street. I mean, I will get back to Pro Street at some point, but again, like I've mentioned, I can't compare Pro Street to... Oh, Euro Marathon. Like, I can't really compare Pro Street to Underground, because obviously Underground, you're going like 200 miles an hour around a tight bend. Pro Street, you can't do that. So, I can compare Pro Street to maybe Shift and stuff like that, but Pro Street on its own will be a good game and it will be #1 in its own list because nothing will compare to it in the Need for Speed series. But I could maybe put it... Yeah, no, I'm just talking about the Need for Speed series as a whole. If I had to rank that series, I won't be able to put that on that list because it's its own thing. So I'll probably be able to compare it to Shift and Shift 2, but obviously not to any of the other games. But yeah, so... And Grid. I mean, yeah, obviously I compare it to Grid, but again, Grid, if I'm comparing it if I'm comparing it to Grid, I will probably say Grid might be better. But again, I've not really put any time into Grid. I've played Grid for maybe an hour, whereas I've effectively beaten Pro Street or gotten thereabouts until my PC decided to die and I've got to restart the whole fucking thing, so... No, is it go right? Yeah, it's probably go right. Yep. Fucking... Oh, shit. Who built these roundabouts, god damn it? We did. But it's beyond the point. Could have saved your files. Yeah, but the PC crashed. I didn't know it was going to crash. I didn't choose to crash it. I didn't choose to reset my PC. Windows died. And then it just went into an infinite boot loop, so I couldn't even log on to the PC to save anything. So I was screwed from the get-go anyway. No, they weren't, because I had to do a complete reinstallation of the hard drive. I had to wipe my hard drive to reinstall Windows. Because Windows wouldn't fix itself. And also at the time I thought to myself, fuck it. I've got nothing on this PC that I want to back up anyway. So I just said fuck it and then reformat the whole fucking lot. Yeah, maybe, but again, you're talking about doing that for one save file for a video game. I don't care enough to do that. Like, that's way too much hassle for not a lot of gain. It's not worth it in the long run. Also, I've already driven this track. Well, we've already hit the repeats. Aha, careful, bitch. No! Oh yeah. That I won't forget. Like, the guy clearly had no intention of braking. So instead of slamming into me, he somehow darted through the guy behind me, drove past me and straight into the gravel and into the wall. Why? Who knows? Also, you've got to be shitting me. This race is going to be like 12 minutes. This is going to be... what? This is going to be a 13.5-minute race. It's only one race. What? One race for the whole of the championship? Okay. If it's one race for a championship, then I won't complain about a 12-minute race. But I will still complain about a 12-minute race, because that means if I cock up at any point and I lose... guess what? Do that 12-minute race again. I mean, again, I can't complain, because even fucking Underground 2... Underground 2 had the same problem. It did. Where there were some races that was like maybe 10 minutes long, and it doesn't help when the game crashes when you're about to win said race. It doesn't help. Or it doesn't. No, I know it doesn't. Oh, come on, crash into him already. Oh, that was bullshit. That wasn't. Let's make it feel worse later. Burnout games also have really long races in the end. I mean, again, if it's like one race, then whatever. Excuse me. I beg your pardon. Fuck you, game. Spawns me directly behind a wreck, and as soon as I go like 10 miles an hour, sorry, you crashed out. See, this is why I picked the easy to handle car. Because in a 12-minute race like this, you don't want to have the car unwillingly lose control. No, even worse. Something even worse. Which is the one thing that I never understand about anyone in this household. Like, I used a bowl today because I had pasta. Because I'm not having pasta on a plate. I'm gonna have it in a bowl. Comes upstairs to ask me for the bowl back. I've used it. Oh, I'll just wash that and use it. We've got plenty of other bowls downstairs. No, I want that one. Okay. It's almost as if you don't use a particular item in this household and it's like, I'm gonna die, and it's... Are you though? It's a knife. And yes, I have gotten into an argument about that once. Oh, why the fuck do you want this knife? Why are you badgering me about a knife? You want that knife? It's a knife. It's a generic silver-plated knife. Or just iron, steel, whatever knife. No, one, that one. Is this one on 576? I have no idea. Because I'm upscaling it to 1080p, so who knows? The only reason why I upscale it is because, well, otherwise it would be a pain in the arse. The only reason why I upscale all my stuff is because I've got a 8-in-1 retro RCA switcher. And having every one of my old retro consoles plug into that 8-in-1 switcher, and that one switcher plug into one upscaler, is 1,000 times easier to run through than flicking through like 8 different cables to get the best resolution out of something. Like, at the end of the day, the game looks the exact same, it's just I'm not using component cables, I'm using composite cables. Fucking shit. Which, because I'm English, who gives a shit? I've used composite all my life, so this game looks no different than fucking shit than any other. Piss off. Because the only console I have component for is PS2, because it's for PS3. But again, having everything plug into one switcher just makes my life so much easier. It just makes my life so much easier. Because if I want to switch console right now and go to like my Nintendo 64, I don't have to dig out cables, I don't have to dig out my capture card, I don't have to dig out shit to plug it all together. It's just turn, button, game, in, done. And also the reason why I have a 7-in-1 HDMI switcher. So basically my setup is all of my retro consoles get plugged into a switcher. That switcher then gets plugged into an upscaler, albeit a very cheap one, because I would like to get the I know everyone wants the FrameMeister, but that thing is like next to impossible to fucking get a copy of. But there's another like a very small upscale, and it looks pretty good. But it goes into that, which then outputs through HDMI into my HDMI switcher, which I can then go from my PC, which is in number 1, and then into my retro consoles, which is number 2, PS4, Xbox 360, Xbox One, and PS4, and then switch if it's ever up here. Everything I have is literally at either the push of a button or switch of a button. It makes my life so much easier after having bought these. I mean, they did cost £50 each to get these switches, but again, just to have everything neatly be plugged in together, like living in heaven. I mean, the cable management is absolute shit. Like, I will not show you the cables behind the retro switcher, because it is a fucking nightmare. It is a nightmare back there. But as far as I'm concerned, it's out of the way, so I don't really care. The only thing that I do want to get, like I did get for my HDMI consoles, is I want to get a cable lead thingamajig. You know, where you can put in different things into one plug socket, extender, whatever the hell you want to call them. I want to get one of them with these switches on so I can turn them on and off. Just so I can flip the switch on, everything turns on, but then I flip another switch and then I can just switch on the console that I want. Once I get that, that will then just make my entire life so much easier. And then the only other thing that I want to get, now that I found them, is someone makes these like acrylic stands for handheld consoles, so I want to get one for my 3DS, PSP, and PS Vita. And I'd even be tempted to get them for my controllers. So again, everything that I need is just ready to be picked up and played, and everything is neatly put together and cable managed. Engage when engage. You wish you could connect component to your monitor. Yeah, well, obviously with monitors being extremely new and component being old, you'll never get away with it. Again, that's why I have an upscaler, so I plug it into the upscaler, which I then connect to. Which also reminds me, I also had to buy a bloody PS3 switcher, so it can go from the component cable to do 1080p into a switcher, so it can go into HDMI, because the PS3 has HD copy protection on it if you do through HDMI, but not through the composite or component cables. So then I've had to buy one of them, so yeah. Like, it's a real pain in the ass, but again, everything is relatively plugged in where it needs to be plugged in. Euromarathon has been completed. Woo. Savage Streets Grand Prix. Oh, so I'm assuming this entire game is just 6 races, then a combination of those 6 races in a marathon, and then 6 more races and the combination in a USA marathon. The component has better picture quality than composite. Yes, it does, because it effectively, what it does is, obviously you get left and right audio, obviously, and then the yellow cable for composite is all your video cable, whereas with component it does red, green, blue, or RGB, through 3 different cables, so they each individually control blue colors, green colors, and red colors. That's why you get better picture quality. So instead of all the video coming out of 1 cable, you get the individual color systems coming out 3 cables. So that's why component is always better, and why you can always push for better resolutions through component, because again, I suppose you can split it through 3 different cables, obviously, instead of forcing it through 1. So HDMI or component, obviously HDMI. HDMI is just better. Because again, it's 1 cable, not 5.
3, 2, 1.
Just what the fuck is DVI? Dueling DVI? That's for ye olde PCs. No, that's VGA what I'm thinking of. You know, I think DVI is a really long... Like, if you know what VGA is, you know, the blue ovalish looking thing. Imagine that, but rectangle. I think that's what DVI is. And then Dual Link DVI has pins on one end and like a 4-pin PRON on the other. Again, do not quote me on this. It's been a very long time since I've seen DVI. And to be honest, I think even my 1060, I think that has even DVI on the back. Again, don't quote me on this. It's either that or one of my monitors that I've got has DVI on it. Again, I don't know because I haven't checked any of them in a very long time. But... oh yeah, we're in America. I'm supposed to be driving on the left. I'm driving on the right, wondering why is everyone driving on the wrong side of the road? Because I'm driving on the wrong side. You've never seen a DVI cable? I mean, if you look it up, you may recognize one, but I would more than assume, with as young as you are, you will have never ever experienced DVI. UK drivers. You also live in Europe. Oh no, never mind. You live in Europe. You drive left. Well, the guy who's out in first is way out in first somewhere. Okay, I genuinely can't believe I actually managed to drift that. Oh, we've been here before. We've seen a connector, not a cable. Well, imagine that connector with a bit of plastic and wiring connecting to another connector. And you've got, there you go, you've got your DVI cable. So this is the one thing that I'm noticing about this game, is the AI will almost always never crash out. Probably because they're cheating. VGA's love, VGA's life. Actually, you want to know one thing that pisses me off? And there's nothing I can do about it now, of course, but it was pissing it down earlier on today, right? And as I was coming home from town, because I walk, but as I was coming home from town, guess what I saw? I saw two fat ye olde TVs, and I'd love to have one. No, I wish it was a Subaru, but no, two fat ye olde TVs, you know, for like retro stuff. There was just two of them sitting outside in the pouring rain, and I was like, shit. Yeah, CRT TVs, thank you. I don't know why I wasn't going to say CRT. Yeah, like there was just two of them sitting outside, and one of them looked to be in very good condition. You can crash out me, bitch. And I really wanted it, but like I say, it was heavily pissing it down by the time I found it, or by the time I walked past it. And it bummed me out, because it was like, someone like me, who owns like an NES and Nintendo 64 and stuff like that, would love a CRT TV. But obviously some people just don't bother, so they just throw them out. You know, I love one, but I mean, I guess I could always go on like fucking... I could ask my sister to go on like Facebook Marketplace or whatever. Because she's on Facebook. And if anyone had one, and you know, I'd pay for, you know, I'd ask, you know, if you have a car you can deliver, I will pay for gas. I will pay for the item, and I will pay for gas as well, if you don't mind. But from my understanding, people on Facebook Marketplace are like really fucking stingy. Like, even if you offer, oh, I will pay for postage, like whatever it costs for postage, just tell me and I will add that on top, I'm fine with that. You think that some people are like, no, I'm not doing that. It's, what have you got to lose? You're selling an item, I'm willing to pay for postage. Imagine using Facebook. I, again, have not been on my Facebook in... you know. No, I like, the last time I checked Facebook was probably maybe a year ago. And it still upsets me to this day. People reposting shit that is supposed to be like inspirational, or people posting shit that does not matter. You know, like, again, this is the problem, is it's not my culture, it's not my way of how I do things. So of course the idea of like Facebook and Twitch is kind of alien to me, and I don't personally see the point. But it's not necessarily for me to judge. Again, I only keep Facebook because, you know, if anyone who I've known from school or anything, you know, if anyone wants to get in touch, like, I'm on there. It's the easiest place, because then also I'll get an email from Facebook saying, oh, X so-and-so has messaged you, check out their message now. So, as I mentioned to them, like, even back then, they knew I never used Facebook, but I said to them, hey, if you ever want to get in touch with me, that was not a crash out. Yeah, like I said to any of them, like, if you want to get in touch with me, just message me, I will get an email, and we'll go from there. But I'm going to more than assume no one will ever message me on Facebook, because most people would have forgotten I exist by now. Hopefully not. I mean, I still see some friends every now and then, but... You don't have social media unless Discord. I don't necessarily count Discord as social media. Although it is social, it's not... I mean, especially you being in my Discord, we're not exactly going to be the kind of people who are going to be, oh my god, I met Brad today, and oh, you're so dreamy. You know, like, we're not going to be doing any of that shit, so... So we're borderline, yes, social. Yes, it is on media. But it's far from, you dick, it's far from the shit that I hate, so... Yeah, could we not be doing this and sandwiching me right in front of you two? Did you do flip around with Blind Blazer? Yeah, because that's just fun. Like with you posting the clip last night when we was playing Grind and how I said something along the lines of, oh, that sounds like a website or an app that Blind Blazer would use. You know, and obviously he knows that I do it in fun anyway. Not unlike Daniel. You say something along the lines of him using Grinder and it's probably going to be... What? Okay. And before he's sitting here right now just going, what? What are you on about? Also, nice flip. I flipped out of bounds, nice. Don't ask me how a car does a backflip, but whatever. Front flip, yes. Backflip, debatable. And I somehow crashed through the railing. Also, I like how the music gets super serious. You know, it's the final lap, you're halfway through. Dun 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 dun. Stop the chicane.
Three, two, one, go!
Oh, we all crashed out. And we all crashed out again. Oh, did he not? Oh, he did. I was gonna say. Okay. Smart AI. Really? No rain, but the floor's wet. How did he not crash out doing that? Or maybe he did. Maniac. Oh, I disagree with that. Well, he should crash out. No, he won't, because the bus will spin out and aim forward. I don't. No, come on! For fuck's sake. Tapping left, I was tapping right. I'm gonna lose, which means I'm gonna have to do a fucking 6-minute race again. Because this game is turd. Unless by some fucking miracle they all crash out. Ask and ye shall receive. Thanks, God. You're welcome. Just don't fuck it up. That was BS. It was close to BS as possible. Go on then, what did you post? No. I don't even need to watch that to know what it is. I don't. I'm saving Burnout. Woo. Twilight Grand Prix. Oh, Rush Hour. It's a bad movie. Great, now I'm dribbling.
3, 2, 1, go!
You'll look to never. Mine. Again, the day I ever get sponsored by Lipton will be the day I know I've made it. I know that's never gonna happen, but no. Woo. On the wrong side like a Brit. Hey man, listen. I'm driving on the wrong side because I need to drive on oncoming traffic so I can fill up my bloody meter quicker. Also, I guarantee if I press the back button, yeah, they're right behind me. Like I boost that entire distance and those guys are just still on my dick somehow. Okay. It's a little bit dicky. It's not that bad. What do you mean not that bad? I boosted for maybe half this race, not even half, but a good distance of this race and those guys were still right behind me. This is why rubber banding is the worst thing to happen to racing games. Because it shouldn't exist. Within reason, it shouldn't exist. And in this game, considering one crash out can put you out of the race, if I'm going to be so far ahead, I should be able to keep that distance, but apparently not. Hey, look at that. I'm boosting this entire thing and they're still right behind me. This boosting method in Paradise. Yes and no. There were cars in Paradise where you flat out cannot boost until you fill the meter, and when you burn out that meter, you then just fills it again. But then if you play as any other class of car, you can burn out whenever you want. No! Fuck off. What can I put? So you should have been playing the Burnout games as well. So what you're telling me that is that the Burnout series is shit.
Three, two, one, go!
No pressure from our drivers crashing like that. I mean, that's whatever, but it's just crashing out sometimes doesn't make sense. Like in that exact race a moment ago, I was driving at max speed and I maybe tapped 2 or 3 cars back to back. Nothing happened. Their car slightly taps you after a crash out and that's it, you're out. It just doesn't make any sense sometimes. And the big problem is I don't know where the hell first is. So I won't be first to continue. So if you see a red marker on the in the game somewhere, let me know, because that's first. Yeah, I may still have 2 laps to find out, but if that fucker never crashes out, I will never find him. No, there he is. No, that's checkpoint. Oh no, yeah, he's just up front. Disagree with it. Like I say, crashing out in this game is way too sensitive. My plan was to drive on the outside because I was never going to make the inside of that car and then grind against the wall, but no, the game just decides, oh, you're going 80 miles an hour. Well, if you're going below 75 you can survive, but anything 80 and above will just crash you out and it's oh, okay. No, like my point is still that I guarantee you in any other Burnout game, I would not have crashed out there. Like I say, it's just that it's a little too sensitive in this. See, he does the exact same thing I do. He doesn't crash out, but I do. I'm not winning this. I mean, I might, but I don't think I'm going to. Again, I need another miracle. I need Jesus to intervene again. Jesus may have just intervened. Thank you, Jesus. talking. But I really don't fancy doing these races again. That's the problem. I just don't fancy doing this shit again. Like, especially when you have credits involved. Like, I want all my credits for the final race. I don't want to use them for any other. Since then I get 3 chances at winning rather than 3 chances to continue. If that makes any sense. Oh, so that was 1 second, was it not?
Checkpoint.
So that was 1 second. Cutting it a little close. Whenever there's that one surprise fucking car that comes out of nowhere and then it's like, oh, I'm not making this turn. See, like that. Like, why was that not a crash out? But my plan of trying to grind against a rail is a crash out. No. Ooh, split the fucking gap. I mean, I believe there was a guy right bloody behind me. And again, another not crash out. Why? I don't know why I'm complaining, but why? Oh, yeah, fucked. Thanks, intersection. Does this feel like Burnout? Well, the problem is, the answer is going to be no, because everyone knows Burnout Revenge and Burnout 3 Takedown, right? So the answer is no, but yes. You know, in a weird way, yes. Because it still has all the sort of big flamboyant crashes, it gives you the money total of, you know, the damages. Also, you've got the burnout meter, there's drifting, you know, so in a weird way it has the spirit of Burnout, which is more than dangerous driving could ever say. Imagine playing this as a kid in 2001. What, crashing into everything constantly? Yeah, I can imagine. Oh, I even beat the Roadster's time, but I didn't beat the lap time. Final championship. Which is the USA Marathon. I mean, probably will just crash into every car on purpose. I mean, yeah. But again, I was never that kind of kid whenever I played games. Admittedly, I never really beat games as a kid, I'll admit that much. Like, I never really sat down to beat, like, Devil May Cry or God of War or anything. Like, all I kept doing was replaying, like, the same first 3 levels over and over and over again for no reason. Because I would sit down, play them, think that maybe, like, 3 hours had somehow gone by, then not play the game for a few days, and then it'd be, oh, just restart. And so that just kept perpetually happening. And then the only game, open world game that I kind of fucked around in was Driver 3. Of all games, it was Driver 3 that I used cheat codes in and just messed around in. Again, I didn't do it often, I didn't do it for very long, but it was the only game that I ever did. And then I eventually grew out of that, and again, with all my collection of games, even up until that point, it was kind of time to just sit down and play them, so I did. And over the course of one school summer, I maybe got through a game a day. That's how sad I got at one point. Like, I just sat from morning till evening, playing maybe 1, 2, 3 games a day. So obviously some of the big games obviously took me a day and a half to beat, but then some of the short ones, obviously I beat maybe 2 or 3 games in a day, so that still didn't get me laid, so to this day I'm still confused about how one gets laid. You know, I've got a massive video game collection, but no one seems to care about that. Fucking lamppost, man. You know, no one seems to care about my massive game collection. But then again, I didn't exactly walk around school with my collection on my back, so... But I did have my dick hanging out, which is probably why everyone was laughing at me so often. Don't know why. Transit then. Well, I'd like to know where first is. How the fuck am I in third all of a sudden? Where the hell did second go? I'm assuming there's like a shortcut underground thing to drive through. If that's the case, then that's just annoying. Now I'm in second. Where is this super secret shortcut that I don't see? But when I hit lap 2, I think I see him. Where the hell was he, and how did he get all the way out here this quickly? Because I've lost second place somewhere. I somehow came into third, and I didn't see any crash cars, and I didn't see his car. And now all of a sudden I'm in first, bollocks. Well, this is going to be what? A 20-minute race. Let's hope I don't fuck it up then. Very cool if you didn't damage your car in this demolition derby game. You wish to trying to do that pointless challenge for what? It's telling me I can go right there, but... No, I did read the message above that, but I still don't get it. Unless you're talking about just driving into everything and there's a game with a challenge that damages your car, in which case... Makes sense. No, well, you know. Oh, this second. Well, if Jesus doesn't help me in this race, then he's a bigger cunt than I thought he was. Wrong way, it's a wall. No. No, even if it does, I never enable it. Because widescreen in old games kind of looks like that. And the reason why I have it in a squidged... The reason why I have it like this, and not like this, which is stretched out to the full screen, is because, well, the way you used to play these games was in a small stretched like 4:3 TV resolution or aspect ratio. So it just looks better that way. For me personally, granted I am forced to play it in full screen, but that does look better than this because everything's stretched out slightly. Obvious reasons. That's like, oh yeah, yes it is. In comes the serious music. Yep, and this will mean this is only a 2-hour game. Well, within reason, providing I don't fuck this over, but... Had I just started this game with the easy car, I probably would have been going probably around about now. So I did spend maybe even half a race playing on medium. Looked it up and went, oh, I'll just play on easy. This is supposed to be the show about Paradise. I have no idea. I know Paradise City is. And Guns N' Roses. Oh! I don't want to fucking do this again. Please don't. Thank you, bus. I was really hoping to call that bus would randomly drive into me. Jesus H. Christ. Oh, fuck you, Burnout. That was intense for me. A 20-minute race where anything can screw me over. Yes. Of course it bloody well was. Is there a fucking another one? Oh no, that's the credits, I was gonna say. Well, fuck all of you. Pricks. Ah, Joe Boner. Nice name. British pricks. Yep. Mike Humphreys. Yon Sok Ko. Probably not British, but... Oh wow, that guy is traditionally 90s, the guy on the right. He's just oozing 90s. Also, all those dudes and a woman. Absolute arseholes. I'm guessing that was in special, yep. But no, I assume face-off is just... Oh yeah, no, there are face-off challenges. We just have to do this, but it's like 1v1, I believe. What's AT? Automatic transmission. Manual transmission. It says it at the top. Transmission select. Automatic manual. Whether or not you want to shift up or shift down. And I will always pick automatic because fuck manual shifting. You go so fast that you can't see it. Yeah, because I can read. AT-MT. I don't even read the thing at the top. I just read AT or MT, so I just assume automatic and manual. So automatic. But anyway, that's it. I'm done with Burnout. I'm not doing anything else. That's Burnout 1. I hope you enjoyed. Yeah, it's a pretty good game as far as racing games go, but yeah, the whole drifting mechanic thing, once you get used to it, which eventually you do in 2 hours, it's kind of fine to control, but beginning it kind of throws you for a loop. Yeah. Like I said, I've seen the Burnout 1 of 8. Burnout 1 of 8 complete. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed. And anyone that somehow watches on YouTube, I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ta.